Episode 11, with longtime book distributor, Bhrigupati Prabhu.
Make your life successful with successfulvaishnavas.com, where we interview devotees who have done wonderful things, and we discuss how to be successful in Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to episode 11 of Successful Vaishnavas. In this episode, we will interview Bhrigupati Prabhu, who's been distributing books for more than 40 years. And he's also a good friend of mine. We'll also talk about what a flood in a garage has to do with life coaching. And I'll also give you a little bit of an update on the Successful Vaishnavas online course. So before we get into all that, let's tell you a little bit about what's been happening with our cleaning project. Yes, we have kept on improving the cleanliness and tidiness around our house. Unfortunately, our cleaner decided to quit and spend more time on her studies. But it was not a problem for us because she had helped us during the time when we needed it the most. And now things have come to a stage where we can actually manage things quite well, and things have improved a lot. We managed to get the shelves in the toy room, and not only that, but we've actually cleaned up the toy room and put things on those shelves. So much so that I've actually moved my bed into the toy room, and it's become a bedroom. And we've actually liberated the lounge where I was sleeping, and also tidy up the shelves in there as well. So we started out this project just with the basic things, just managing to do the dishes and the vacuuming. And once we were able to maintain that, now we've been able to take things to another level of tidying bookshelves, clearing surfaces. And I tell you, it's a great feeling to have a clean house. It's much easier to be productive. So that's a basic recap on the cleaning. And as I mentioned earlier, there is a connection between a flood in the garage and life coaching. So let's just briefly talk about that. You may have noticed that there's been over 2 weeks since I did the last podcast, and that was because I was feeling stuck. Now, I'm sure you've had this feeling before as well. I really wanted to get the Successful Vaishnavas online course up online, available for people to join. So I thought to myself, that's my most important task. Let me focus on that. Once I've done that, then I can do the podcast. But unfortunately, there were a few glitches that came along the way. Basically technical problems to do with setting up the membership site and linking it with the payment processor, like PayPal. Anyway, those struggles are still going on, but I've realized that this podcast has to go on, and I need to do it every week, no matter what. And I can just put aside an hour or maybe a couple of hours to do the podcast, and other things can wait, no matter how important they are. And it's really interesting because when I look at my website, I can see that over these last 2 weeks, the amount of traffic has really dropped off. In fact, I might make a little chart and keep a record of this to show other people who are interested in online projects how much of a difference it makes when you don't continue to produce content on a regular basis. So I was feeling stuck, and things were not going so great. I just was getting really frustrated by the fact that I wanted to put this online. I actually had the content. That wasn't the problem. I'd actually prepared some homework assignments. I've prepared the first module, which I call the Jumpstart Module, which is just some really practical things to do straight away that can help you to become more effective, to raise your consciousness, and to help you be in a good frame of mind for the rest of the course. So I was really excited about preparing that module, but when it came time to put it online, the software that I had for the membership site didn't really work that well. And then the payment processing service that I wanted to use didn't kind of join up with that. So I'm still struggling with that. But when I had some coaching with Atmananda Prabhu, it really helped me. When I spoke to him, I was feeling like stuck, literally stuck, and I felt that things were just not happening. But when I started to speak to him, I realized that some of the big hurdles that I'd faced, I had actually crossed over it, and there was just a little bit more needed to make things happen. And it was very interesting when I was talking with him in that coaching relationship. He was really just asking questions and trying to clarify what was going on. And I found that actually the process of me talking it out and having someone ask me questions that helps me to clarify things for myself really made a huge difference. And after speaking with him, it was like night and day. Before I spoke with him, I was feeling quite depressed and down and lethargic. And after speaking with him, I started to feel that actually I can do this. It's possible. And I felt like the whole blockage had been taken away and the energy was flowing again. So now, this is where the connection with my flooded garage comes in. You see, every time it rains, and perhaps you heard it a little earlier on, there was a big downpour on the roof, but every time there's a heavy rain, the garage under a house fills up with water about 2 inches deep. And we've been trying to figure out what it is for a couple of years. We had a very long, dry summer, so nothing much was happening. But just recently, we've really noticed it's flooded a lot. So I found one drain, and I noticed that used to kind of fill up, and I thought that caused the flooding. And then one day, right next to where we have our rubbish bin, I noticed that there was a pipe, or like a drain, that went underneath the steps. So I thought, well, let me clear it out. And as I did, I found that there was actually a pipe running under the house next to our garage that I'd never seen before. And when I dug out the mud and cleared it away, it's just amazing how much water just came flowing through. And now, when it really rains, there's still some leakage into the garage, but it's amazing how much of a difference it's made. Because that water has been allowed to flow through and just continue down where it's meant to be, not so much water is going into the garage. So there was a blockage. I didn't even know it was there. But by clearing it away, the water was able to flow. And that's exactly how I felt after talking with Atmananda Prabhu. I felt that there was something stuck. And all it took was a small little bit of work. Like to make the water flow through that pipe. It just required digging out, maybe a few centimeters worth of mud. Very easy. But the difference it made was quite significant. And the same with the short time I spoke with Atmananda. It made a difference. So if you ever get the chance to do life coaching, particularly if you feel like you're a bit stuck and you need help, or just in general, sometimes talking to a life coach can make things work better than you even realized. And there may be some things that the life coach can reveal that you didn't even know were there, or some ideas that you may come up with that you would have never come up with on your own. So, highly recommend it. And to connect this back with our Successful Vaishnavas project, Atmananda Prabhu is a friend of mine, and out of appreciation for what the Successful Vaishnavas course has to offer, he has offered his services, a complimentary 1-hour coaching session as a bonus for anybody that joins the Successful Vaishnavas course online. So by the time you hear this podcast, there's a good chance that the course will be up and running. I sure hope so, because it's been a while since I've been working on it. Anyhow, so Atmananda Prabhu has offered 1 hour of complimentary coaching. He specializes in relationship coaching, which is one aspect of the Successful Vaishnavas course. And he also has expertise in life purpose coaching, which is one of the main aspects of the Successful Vaishnavas online course. If you haven't seen the presentation about the Successful Vaishnavas course, you can go to successfulvaishnavas.com/hangout and watch the replay of the webinar or the hangout that I did on that topic, about this course. In a nutshell, in the presentation, we look at the different challenges that devotees face typically in their relationships with each other and with devotees and those who are not initiated Hare Krishna devotees. We also look at balancing money, work, and lifestyle and family, spiritual life, how to juggle all these things. And we look at how many devotees have got unfulfilled dreams, and we look at some of the reasons behind these problems and how typically these difficulties are dealt with. And then we show how the Successful Vaishnavas course is designed to address these particular challenges. So I hope that you have a chance to check out the Hangout. If you're listening to this way in the future, then there'll always be a Hangout that you can go and have a look at, or a webinar at the same link, successfulvaishnavas.com/hangout, where it can give you the latest update on the projects that we're doing. If you wanted a quick summary in writing, and if you're interested to join this course, you can also go to successfulvaishnavas.com/online, where there's a brief description of the course, and it's the place that you can sign up and join the course. All right, so I think that's about it from me, about my challenges, my coaching with Atmananda, and my floods in the garage, about cleaning up our house. Now it's time to get back to our interview that I mentioned earlier with Bhrigupati Prabhu. About a year back, in 2012, in May, I went to San Jose, California, for a seminar, some training called Experts Academy by Brendan Burchard. And this was a training about how to take what you know and package it and promote it online so that you can serve others and also generate income doing the same thing. And that's what I'm trying to do with the Successful Vaishnavas project. My intention is to serve the Vaishnavas the best that I can through what I see are things that devotees really need, and then I'm packaging it in such a way that devotees can pay for some of these services so that it'll sustain itself, and I'll be able to keep on helping devotees for a long time and keep it going and expanding it. So anyhow, when I was going to that seminar in May, Bhrigupati Prabhu was kind enough to pick me up at the airport in Los Angeles and spend a little time with him. And I interviewed him for 45 minutes, and he gave a wonderful basically story or history of how he joined the Hare Krishna movement. Unfortunately, when I got back to New Zealand, my little 2-year-old son got a hold of my iPhone and somehow or other deleted that interview. I was gutted. But fortunately, in August of 2012, last year, I had the chance to go to America again. This time it was for a similar type of a training called Profit Hacks. And the idea of this type of training was how to do marketing online and organize your business in such a way that you make the best use of your time through outsourcing and technology. And I happened to win a competition by sharing my experience with that course. And they paid for my flight all the way to Florida. And I got the chance to meet Bhrigupati Prabhu again while I was traveling. And this time he dropped me off at the airport, and I was able to get a 20-minute interview with him. And it was fantastic. He's sharing about his experience at the Advanced Warp Tour, where they distributed many books. And he shares his philosophy about the importance of preaching, or as he puts it, sharing the love. if you've got something wonderful, you should definitely share it. And that's his philosophy. And that's what inspired him to keep on, still inspires him to keep on distributing books after 40 years as a devotee. Yes, 40 years. He's been distributing books from way back in the 70s, and he has never stopped from the time he started back then until now. So it's an amazing story. He's over 60 years old now and still going strong, distributing books with the 20-year-olds. So anyway, I better not give it away anymore. Let's hear from him directly. Here's Bhrigupati Prabhu talking about book distribution and sharing the love of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Tell us a bit more about the tour. What's the name of the tour? The Warp Tour?
Vans Warp Tour, yeah. And it's really good. It's, so many different things I could say about it. The most significant thing is that we're able to distribute about 1,000 big and big books every day. You know, the group of us is 5 devotees that travel in one van, and there's one devotee that kind of travels on his own, but also distributes. And between the 6 of us, I'm sure we're doing about 1,000 big and big books every day.
Wow, that's awesome.
And, probably averaging double the BBT. So it's a tremendous amount of books go out. And this year, for the first time, we had a tent inside. And we had devotees chanting and having the kids come and sit down with them and chant. Some of the kids got neck beads. You know, they actually went away with a set of japa beads. And got books. We got their contact information. And that was another team, a separate team of another 6 devotees that was doing that. And it was very positive. I mean, I was amazed to see the kids actually sit down there and chant and like it. And, hopefully some devotees are going to come as a result of the whole thing. It's really austere. I mean, the program is that you, on pretty much any given day, you get up at 4 or earlier, shower out of a couple gallons of water from an empty milk jug, and get dressed and hop in the van and off you're driving, because we'd probably drive an average of 5 or 6 hours a day.
Wow.
Because, it's a lot of driving. The shows are not set up in terms of, what city is closest to the next city like that. It's
all over the place.
It's all over the place because, the owner wants to be in the big cities kind of on the weekends. He wants to maximize the number of people coming to the show, not minimize the number of amount of driving in between shows. So there's a lot of driving. And so, you drive for like 3 or 4 hours in the morning, get to the place, get out, start distributing. We'll distribute from the time we get there pretty much till 4, 5, 6, even 7 o'clock, depending upon how far away the next show is. We calculate it. And then basically at the end of the day, you're coming back, taking another shower real quick, drying off, hopping in the car, and off you go, driving again.
So you do some of the driving at night and some in the morning?
Yeah, some of the driving at night.
Split it up.
Yeah, split it up. And on days off, and really it's just a misnomer, because on the day off you have to do your laundry, you have to do your banking, you have to do, usually it's like an average is probably 1 a week, and you have to do so many different things, pick up books, a shipment of books. So it's not really a day off at all. It's just a day you're not distributing.
Right.
And even on those days, you're driving a lot also, because, usually the day off is because it's such a big distance between the shows that, they give people an extra day to drive it.
So it goes on like this for a full 2 months?
Yeah, a little less, about a month and a half.
Wow.
And,
but it sounds like it's making a really big impact.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's making an impact. Well, it's really hard to make an impact in Kali Yuga. Because there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
We're making, I won't say an impact, we're definitely making a good impression. And an impact, that's up to Krishna.
Right. A bit noisy with the window wide open, eh?
Yeah. So, it's a great opportunity for the distributors to make a lot of advancement, because, it's a real surrender. You're distributing, there's no really downtime. I mean, because how comfortable can you get, even though you're just driving in a van, you can't get really comfortable. I mean, you gotta. It's just an austerity at the whole time, pretty much, and sometimes it's really hot. We had quite a few shows. You're distributing in over 100 degrees, and if it rains, tough luck. You're distributing anyway. As long as the people are coming to the show, we distribute.
Yeah.
We don't stop because it rains. We don't stop because it gets too hot.
So it's a real high volume distribution. It's like you don't get much chance to talk to people. It's like just the books are just flying out, kind of thing.
Yeah. And another thing is that it's austere all around. Like before the show, we're distributing in the parking lots as the cars are coming in. Sometimes it's a paved lot, but usually if it's a paved lot, it's random parking. And it's like you don't have a parker there pulling them in, like, one next to the other.
Right.
So it's kind of like you're all over the place, and you're moving around a lot. And if it isn't a paved lot, you got parkers. Usually they pull them in one next to the other.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because there's not marked spaces.
Yeah, right.
But then you're dealing with like a surface. You're pulling one of these Jansport backpacks around on gravel or dirt.
Yeah.
Sometimes surfaces
Physically quite tiring.
Right. Really tiring. So it really takes it out of you like that.
Especially, how old are you now?
Huh?
50 plus?
61.
61. My goodness. Yeah. Still going strong.
Still going. How about strong? I hope.
That's incredible. And how old are most of the distributors? They must be like the early 20s, I suppose.
Yeah, Parameshwar is the second oldest one, the party leader. I think he's about 40.
Yeah.
Or so. And then the other guys were 27, 24, and 21, I think.
Wow. Wow, you're the real granddaddy of the whole team, eh?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you've been doing it for all these years. Have you ever felt like, I've had enough of this, let me try something else? Or it's just
well,
your
I've felt
identity?
a lot of times I've had enough of this. But then, you just keep doing it somehow, and Krishna makes it worthwhile.
Yeah. It's amazing.
But it's getting better. It's becoming more and more fun. Although,
Really?
Yeah, because I'm at a point where I'm not competing to be the biggest anymore, so that's taking a lot of pressure off.
Right.
And,
so you're not so attached to the results, maybe, as you
not
were
as
before?
much. No.
Right.
I'm more into just going out there and trying to share the love. Because that's what it is. If you stop and think about it, I mean.
Right.
When Krishna was here 500 years ago as Lord Chaitanya, a big part of his thing was he was trying to, experience what Radharani was experiencing, loving him, and all those esoteric things. But what was the program? The program was share it, get it out there. At least for those 6 years he was traveling, and at least for the first 6 years in Jagannath Puri, he was trying to give Krishna consciousness to as many people as he possibly could.
Yeah.
And if you stop and think about it, what are the most advanced devotees doing? Devotees in Madhurya Ras, like the gopis. Radharani, she's always trying to give the other gopis a chance to be with Krishna, and the gopis are always trying to get Radharani to be with Krishna. And they're basically and even Krishna himself, he expands himself into so many living entities to enjoy. But what is that enjoyment? It's sharing the love.
Right.
Krishna. It's not like Krishna's, narcissistic and he's thinking, I'll expand so many living
More
entities.
slaves.
Just can everybody pay attention to me? No. His mood is, let me share the love. It's just kind of like, it's like even human beings experience that in a very small, probably perverted way. Like when you stumble upon some really good thing, and you're feeling like, oh man, I got to tell my friends about this.
Yeah, right.
I got to turn other people on to this,
Yeah.
So that's a very teeny, as I said, because everything here in this material world is a perverted reflection. So I guess it's correct to refer to it as a perverted reflection of Krishna's psychology. And actually, Prabhupada says in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, our psychology is just a reflection of Krishna's psychology. So Krishna's psychology is, he just wants to share it. He's just feeling like, whoa, man, this is
too good to keep to myself.
Yeah, too good to keep to myself. I gotta share this with other living entities. I gotta turn other people onto this. You see? And and actually when you're just getting back to us, when you're feeling that way, what is it that you want? What is it that you want in return? You really don't want anything. I mean, that's why it's
like
considered love.
Kind of,
Your only this thing is you just want to experience, see that other people are able to take advantage of what it is that you told them about or offering, and that they appreciate it.
And you get that inner happiness of
Yeah,
knowing
yeah,
that you've done
right.
something that's helped others.
That's Krishna. That's Krishna's satisfaction. Just when he sees that the living entities are appreciating, his gift of love of himself, and they're thankful, and he feels like, okay, that's cool, it's worth it. Just like that's how we feel. It's like I went down to the beach past weekend. It was so good. My wife kind of twisted my arm, finally I said, okay. But I'm so glad I did it because it was really terrific. I was just walking along the beach chanting, and then after I finished my 16 rounds, I just jumped in and had a bit of a swim, and it was just like, wow, it was so refreshing. I felt like a new person, really.
Yeah.
Just in the course of a few days.
Yeah.
And so immediately I was thinking, yeah, I gotta turn Ratna Bhushan onto this. I have to turn Rabindranath onto this. I have to take the Sankirtan devotees down here. Maybe I'll make a birthday party for myself and invite all the devotees down here, and like that.
So there's a couple of points there. One is the importance of just taking a break. Sometimes it really freshens you up, right? That's one point. And then the idea of when you have a realization like that, you just want to share it and help others to get the same experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you must be pretty exhausted after all that. The big tour and everything. Just have that break.
I was, but I'm back. I'm okay again now. I feel okay after that. It doesn't take much to get back to normal again. I mean, human life is meant for austerity. And if you just, if you look at like people who aren't even devotees, they can perform incredible austerities, and it doesn't take them very long to recover.
Right.
Like these guys who run the marathon. Sure, after they run the marathon, if you ask them 5 minutes later, can you run another marathon? No, forget it. But you just give them a bit of time, and like within probably these guys who run the marathon, I would say probably within an hour they recovered to do their normal activities, and probably within a few days they'd be ready to run another marathon.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the human body is meant for austerity.
Yeah.
It's designed for that purpose. So. Yeah, even though the whole Warp Tour thing was pretty intense, I mean, after just a few days of resting up, you're ready for action again.
Yeah. So what's next? Is there another tour like that coming up soon, or is it just once a year that happens?
No, it's just the summer. It's just that once a year.
It's probably enough, is it?
Yeah, it is enough, actually. Well, actually, the next intense thing is the Prabhupada Marathon.
The marathon, right.
Coming up in December. And I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But in the meantime, it's schools, which can be as intense or not as intense as you like it. See, the thing about the Warp Tour, it's a do or die program. It's kind of, you got to run a schedule.
You fit into that program.
Yeah, you can't.
It's not like your program that you choose.
Right. You got to fit in. The program doesn't revolve around you. You revolve around the program.
Yeah.
Whereas when you go into schools, I mean, if you want, you can get there very early, and then of course then you'll be able to do the most books and maximize on the whole thing. But then you can also just go to the whole program and tootle on out there after the whole morning program. You start distributing it about 11 or so, and distribute till about 4 or 5, and which is good. So it's kind of like it can be as intense or not as intense as you want it to be.
Right. Cool. Now, when I was with you last time, when you picked me up, we were listening to a Prabhupada lecture. And Prabhupada was talking about how everyone should become a guru. Can you remember the basic point from that lecture? I'm sure you've heard it many times, right? Yeah,
Prabhupada would always quote the famous statement by Lord Chaitanya, Yadi Deke Tade Kaha Krishna Badesh Amara Agyaya Guruhana Tadadesha. Wherever you go, whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna. And in this way become a spiritual master and deliver everybody in the land. So that was Prabhupada's formula, but Prabhupada was basically just quoting Lord Chaitanya. That was Lord Chaitanya's program. Yeah. Prabhupada's idea was that he wanted all his disciples to become gurus. I mean, he said it. If you listen to enough Prabhupada's lectures, you could find it on the database, and you could hear it with your own 2 ears. Of course, he wanted to be qualified, but that was his his vision. That was his hope that a lot of his disciples would become qualified to be spiritual masters. Yeah. Because he never said, whether he was thinking about diksha, shiksha, or whatever, but I mean, he wanted his disciples to be people who could share Krishna consciousness.
Share the love.
Share the love. Share the love, right? With a lot of different people. Yeah. So.
Because sometimes there's a feeling like, I'm not qualified to preach or
that's
to
good.
teach
That's a good
others.
feeling. That's a good feeling. That's humility.
Yeah.
But at the same time, despite the fact that you feel like that, you should go ahead and do it because it's the order of the spiritual master and it's the order of Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. Feel unqualified. That's nice. But then just chant your 16 rounds, be following the 4 good principles, and get out there and just repeat whatever you know.
Yeah.
And be honest with you, it's kind of like you're not going to have an opportunity to repeat very much because these people aren't able to hear very much. See, so it's kind of a cop-out to think, to say that, oh, I'm not qualified to preach and I don't know how to answer this question or that question. You don't have to. Pretty much, really, if you're meeting people, total strangers, all you have to know how to do is just be friendly.
Yeah.
Because really, they're not capable. Any philosophy you give them, they're probably not understanding anyway. So the basic thing is just to be prepared to try to execute the order of the spiritual master. Like today, I didn't do any philosophy. My approach was I walked up to students, I said, excuse me, do you go here? Are you a student? And they'd say, yeah. I say, do you consider yourself, how would I say it? Listen, are you a student? Would you say you're a good one? It's a weird question, just as a joke. And they go, well, yeah, I think I'm a good one. I say, yeah, I think so, because you look very intelligent. I say, here, check this out. This is on meditation and yoga. So we're trying to give this to all the really spiritual-looking people out here today. And I don't know. I don't know what it is exactly, but you look kind of spiritual. Maybe it's that goatee or that, whatever. And I just point out something to them that kind of looked a little bit, stylish or something like that. And they laugh, And I say, we're monks. We don't sell these people, just give a donation. Basically, I didn't really say anything about the philosophy of the people.
Yeah.
Unless they were kind of like on the fence, and then I might show them a couple pictures, the picture of karma. Then I might show them a couple things to interest them.
Yep.
Not so much in the mood of like instructing them, but just in the mood of trying to like...
This is about spiritual, we're monks, so they have an idea what it's about, something spiritual.
Yeah, but the real thing is, like Prabhupada used to quote Prabodhananda Saraswati, one of the predecessor acharyas, who said, flatter them like anything.
Yeah.
See, so that's really it. I'm flattering them. I'm making jokes and flattering them. The joke is the thing about the student, and then I just flatter them that they look very spiritual.
Yeah.
And on the strength of that one compliment, I'm asking them to take the book and give a donation.
Yeah.
And that's most of the day is 90% plus of the the interactions with the students is on that level.
Yeah.
It's just kind of meeting them, being friendly, friendly meaning being jovial, making whatever kind of joke you can, and
T3, I think it is.
3, okay.
I think also like even giving like a Sunday feast lecture or something, it's a similar thing as well. There's only so much philosophy you can absorb, but if someone has a good feeling, from the class, and tell a few jokes and just have a few points that people can just have in their head when they walk out.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So anyway, getting back to your original question about that, Prabhupada, how to be, that's it. That's a start anyway. I think that some of my god brothers have taken it a lot further, and I like Radhanath Maharaj and Devanamrita Swami. And if you can't preach like that, all the better. It's wonderful. But if you can't preach like that, that's okay. It doesn't mean you can't preach. Not everybody's going to be able to. Yeah, according to your capacity. Not everybody's going to be able to, preach like Devanamrita Maharaj and Radhanath Maharaj and some of these other, Radhananda Maharaj. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
These guys are geniuses. Aside from being great devotees, they're also incredibly bright people. So, everybody's got a particular kind of machine. Your machine might not be equipped to put out stuff like that. Yeah. But everybody can preach at some level or another.
Yeah. Nice.
3, huh?
Yeah. Well, so we're almost at the airport, so I just thank you, Prabhu, for sharing that. And
welcome.
I hope the listeners will get some inspiration from your many, many years of book distribution. 60 plus and still distributing books. That's pretty amazing. And thanks for taking the time.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. To find out more, go to successfulvaishnavas.com.
whatever little service that anyone can do for Krishna is to be appreciated and celebrated.
Just give this life to Krishna.
We know that they have much more potential that they are presently using.
I went to a place of relishing the activity and letting go of the result completely.
You just associate with pure devotees. Then you shall be able to cross over the ocean of nescience.